So we're out with the Mig-17 once again. It's a little bit breezy, gusty today. The main thing we're going to see is the spring on the nose gear. So now it's got a much softer spring, so it actually has suspension. Yeah, my cannon broke off last time. I didn't even notice. Must have been on one of those bounce landings. So what we're hoping is to not have any bounce landings today. We're out with the Avios Mig-17 once again. Primary test today is the very soft suspension nose gear. Not that soft when you push it from underneath. That's where I run my 5000 milliamp hour battery, which weighs whatever it says, 767 grams, 100 gram of lead up in the nose. What we'll do is we'll just put it down on the gear. This is the takeoff strip anyway. So basically it's got the softer spring, so it's probably a fraction too weak, but it's better to be weak than too strong. So it can't pop the nose off the ground no matter what. So if you can't pop the nose off the ground, you can't gain a positive angle of attack for it to lift off into the air again.
Mig-17 90mm selected.
It's a little bit of a breeze. The drop tanks really make it waggle around. So it doesn't like wind. So we're ready. What we're going to do is just a whole lot of landings to demonstrate the lack of ability to bounce or go airborne again. Whole area is clear. So I'm just going to leave the gear out. I want to fly through the sun there, but sort of have to land. So anyway, go to full flaps, cut power right back. So that was a little bit heavy. I didn't actually grease it. No bounce whatsoever. A little bit tricky in this buffety wind, but anyway, we'll try and land a bit better. So I'm not using air brakes, it's not really important. So as you might see, there's not even the slightest bit of nose bouncing up. The main gear springs are actually very good in their stock form. I tested them. I hadn't tested them before and they felt stiff, but really they were just right. That was a bit heavy. Landing.
2 minutes.
In a minute we'll check telemetry. I would imagine I can get 5 or 6 landings. Even though it was sort of smooth, it still had the descent rate was too high. Didn't flare and get horizontal. Not getting the throttle control right. If I'd like to come in from a bit further out. I'm just worried about those trees in the distance. Oh,
37.
it's time to land. I've used so much power. No, that's... Oh, wrong numbers. That's alright, I've got a long way to go.
Volts, 41.1 amps.
What wonky approaches, oh my god, and that's so fast.
Volts, 9.
That's way too fast, that'll fly, even with 1 degree angle of attack.
65 milliamp hours, 21.6 volts.
I'm going to try and get this throttle use better.
34.6 amps, 2,652 milliamp hours.
Still not flaring.
22.4 volts.
This is actually the 3rd flight,
Amps,
and I've just done non-stop landings.
volts. 2,882 milliamp hours. 21.7 volts. 41.7 amps. 22.4 volts. 4.8 amps. 3,067
This will be the last landing.
20.9 volts. 95 amps. 21.7 volts. 39.
I'm dead stick temporarily,
3,000.
then coming back to about 10%.
Milliamp hours. 5 minutes. 22.2 volts.
So we're on full flaps, no air brakes, full flaps the whole time, take off the whole circuit to landing.
0.5 volts.
Probably could have done one more circuit really, but
454 milliamp hours. Throttle cut set.
so I think I've used a 0.7mm wire spring. I could have used a 0.8, that was still, when I tested that, still didn't lift the nose quite anyway. It just didn't, it felt a little bit stiff, but really I think you could get away with 0.8, and the 0.7's fine anyway, so no more bounced landings, no matter how bad or wonky you land. Dead stick, back to 10%, a little bit more, still touching down over there. So we're down to 5 or 10%. Not a very good landing. Using a lot of coordination to try and make the final touchdown smooth. Dead stick, back to 5 or 10%, a little bit more. This will guarantee it can keep flying. Touchdown a little bit harsh again. Back to dead stick, back to 5, 10%.
22.7 volts. 0.1 amps. 22.8 volts.
Back to dead stick,
29.3
back to 5%, 10%.
23.6 amps.
A little bit more.
2,639 milliamp hours.
Dead stick, back to 5%, 10%,
0.5
a little bit more, 12 or 15%, a little bit more. Not really extending the landings into a longer horizontal. 0, 5, 10, 12. We'll find out what that does. That's about 12%.
0.3 amps. 3,384 milliamp hours.
Dead stick, 5, 10, 15%,
22.
a little bit more.
Volts. 3.7
That's the final landing. stick,
22.
let it descend a bit, back to 5, 10, 12 or 15%, I'm not sure how much. You can see the nose trying to lift that little bit. Go down to 0, back to 5, 10, 15%. So that's a very fast landing. We'll just let it carry through. Slow it down a bit. So we go dead stick out there. Back to 5, 10. I'll only go to 10 because it's still gaining speed on descent. Now I'll come back to 12. That's just guesstimating where I've time as you come back, just quickly dead stick just so I get the reference point. So now I'm on about 10%. I need a bit more. Need a bit more. No, not enough. The ASC might not track the stick exactly because. So we go dead stick, 5, 10, 15 just to make sure. So that's going to touch down eventually. It hasn't got enough power to fly. Now, because I landed with an angle of attack that time, it's just wobbling around so much. We don't have to really get this throttle down. I'm just messing it up, going way too fast.
4
Oh,
minutes.
the wind just tilted a little bit leftwards just before going to touch down, and I couldn't stop it. So back to 0, 5, 10, 15, 10, 5.
21.2.
Last dead stick. 5, 10, 15,
0.4 volts.
15,
2 amps. 3,062
Yeah.
milliamp hours. 5.
I mean, my guesstimations of percentage are obviously not very good, and 0, 5, 10, 15,
volts.
10.
0.2 amps. 3,421.
So I landed with a little bit of an angle of attack that time, and that allowed it to just lift off again with the landing. Oh, that's funky.
Milliamp hours. 6 minutes. 21.7 volts. 24.6 amps. 20.
Didn't tell me much, but it didn't even attempt to bounce. That is wobbling around. So, oh my god, that's just getting blown everywhere. I couldn't land any different. That is so wobbly. Well, so it's not even attempting to bounce at all.
4 minutes.
Like that. It's just not even attempting. In total.
0.9 volts. 41.9 amps. 22.4
So much lift.
volts. 6.4
We'll
amps.
make one more worried about depth perception, those trees in the distance over there, so I don't want to go near them.
0.9 volts. 37.1 amps. 3,622
How's that?
milliamp hours.
0 nose bounce.
22